be making corned beef and cabbage. Stay tuned. Good afternoon. So today I'll be making corned beef and cabbage. It's a pretty simple dish but very tasty. I'll be making it with boiled dumpling and maybe some rice, but that's what I'm feeling for today. Is Saturday actually. Normally we make soup in Jamaica, but today I'll be making corned beef and cabbage. Stay tuned. First I'm gonna have to wash my cabbage. And cut up my vegetables. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. First you peel the first layer of the cabbage off, because that's the layer that has been sitting on the shelves, or people touch that first layer, so you want to make sure you peel that first layer off. Then you cut your cabbage in half like so, and then you want to remove the heart. This hard part of the cabbage, nobody wants to eat this part because it's very hard. So you remove the heart. Remove that part. And then I'm gonna make steamed cabbage, so the size that I'm heading for is maybe not extra fine, but maybe like this. Or I could even go bigger. There's no right or wrong way to cook a cabbage. I still have a little piece of the heart left, so there we go. That's my cat. Luna, it's not time. It's not time. Go catch some rat and lizard out the door. I may just do half of the head, not the whole head. But then again, let me just cut everything up. Because cabbage has a lot of water. You may think you have a lot, it's like spinach. You think you have a lot, but then you don't. By the time heat gets to it, it shrinks and produces a lot of water. So I'll just do the entire head. Okay, and there's the entire head of cabbage. I'm going to trim the cabbage off. Now I strain my cabbage in my colander. I'm going to do my vegetables next, which includes bell peppers. I have a little piece of red and a little piece of yellow left. I need to take my sticker off, which I already washed, but for some reason the sticker, these are so annoying, people. I hate them. They're on every vegetable. It's just so hard to peel them off at times. But anyway, these are the vegetables I'll be working with today. I have a little piece of tomato, a little piece of white onion, and these scraps of bell peppers. So I am just going to rough chop these. Rough chop means they have no definition. They're just roughly chopped. It speaks for itself. That's on the peppers. Well, actually I have this piece left. And now my onions, likewise, roughly chopped. And now my little piece of tomato. Okay, and I also have garlic, which I need to peel. Let's do this over here. Let me just remove these vegetables over here. My vegetables looks a lot, like it's just too much, but let's see. Here goes my garlic. I may use 2 cloves. I really love garlic in everything, so 2 cloves is perfect. Do you guys love garlic? I do. See, 2 cloves doesn't even look like a lot. But in to my mixture, and I'm gonna get started on cabbage and vegetables. Later on, I'll add my corned beef, so stay tuned. So now it's time to get everything started. So I set my Dutch pot on. And then I'm gonna just add my ingredients. Here I'll be adding first my vegetables, which I wanna sweat a little. Sweat means to extract all the flavors before you add your main ingredients. So I want to extract the flavor of the garlic, onions, and pepper. So here we go into a hot oil. Yeah, I really love sweating onions and garlic, especially because the aroma it gives is just different. So I'm gonna let it sweat for maybe 5 minutes. Or maybe less, actually maybe 3 minutes, then I'll add my cabbage in. Now that my vegetables are pretty soft, you know, I'm satisfied with the consistency, then I will add my cabbage. So I want to add some chiffon butter to my cabbage. This one is full, and I refuse to open this one because this is precious commodity. I cannot find this anywhere, worse in Colorado. So this one has a little bit left. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my rubber spatula spoon and I'm gonna scrape it all out and add it to my cabbage. So I got this much. It's not much, but I refuse to open the other one until further notice. So here we go. I don't need all that extra grease because I already sauteed my vegetables with oil, so it's all good. So I'm gonna add some Scotch bonnet pepper, which I have this one that's, I'll just use the rest of this one. Have to preserve my peppers. So I'll be adding the entire thing to my cabbage. There was my Scotch bonnet pepper. So cabbage produces its own water, but I'm still gonna add some water to the cabbage just so it doesn't burn. So I'm adding some warm water here that I have for my dumplings on the other side. So I'm gonna give it a good stir. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt because corned beef in itself is very salty. So where is it? I have my little vintage Morton salt container that I thrifted, and I have kosher salt in here, so I'm gonna add just a little bit. As I said, corned beef is very salty. And I have my own black pepper, meaning these are papaya seeds that I dried and I roasted them a little, and it's natural. It's better than traditional black pepper that's filled with chemicals. So these are papaya seeds. They are pretty spicy, even better than black pepper. So I'm just gonna add a little here, and then I'm gonna cover it and let it steam. There's my black pepper, aka papaya seed, or papaya seed, aka black pepper. I'm gonna set my burner on like a medium low, and then I'm gonna cover it and let it just steam. So now it's time for the dumplings, and I'm gonna add my flour here to my mixing bowl. Yep, I'm gonna use it all. It's not a lot, so this will be perfect for what I'm looking for. It's probably a cup and a half. I don't know. And I'm gonna add some salt. I'm just gonna eyeball. You know, just a little bit, not much. That's probably half of a teaspoon. Sometimes I make my dumpling without salt. Just the mere fact that the corned beef is salty, then I didn't even need salt in my dumplings. So I'm just being extra. I'm gonna use gloves, which I hate using gloves. Making dumpling, it gets really sticky, but because of my nails, I will use gloves to knead my dumpling. So Here goes my gloves. Okay, so I'm just gonna incorporate the flour and the salt, make sure it's fully incorporated here. Then I'm just gonna add some filtered water here. And I didn't measure my water because I've made this so many times that I just know the right amount of water to keep adding to my flour so it doesn't get too sticky. But if you're just beginning to learn how to make dumpling, I would suggest you measure your water or add a little at a time and see the consistency of the flour, and then you'll know how much more water to add, because you will spoil the dumpling, but you can correct it by adding more flour, so it's not a big deal. So let me just keep adding more. Okay, it's coming together. Keep adding. It's coming along, coming along. See, still needs to come together better. It's a bit wet, and that's not what I'm looking for. So once I'm satisfied with the consistency, then I won't add any more water. As a matter of fact, I think I'm done adding water, and I'm just trying to get what's left in the bowl by rubbing the flour around the edge. So yes, I think this is perfect. Knead. Perfect. It's not too sticky and it's not too tough. I don't know, everybody makes their dumpling different, so don't judge me. This is my way. I'm just gonna let the flour rest a little, and then I'll just put it in the pot once the water comes to a boil, okay? Coffee. That much. Goodness. Take a look together. Okay. Okay, since I added my papaya seed, aka black pepper, I did not stir my cabbage. It's looking pretty tender, but I wanted to cook some more, so let's see where that scotch bonnet is, because this thing gets pretty hot. So I want to make sure that it's visible, so I can just take it out when I think it's hot enough. You see how the bell pepper has the same color as the scotch bonnet? Yikes. If one of my kids mistakenly had this for pepper, for the sweet pepper, oh my god, it would not be good. So I want to make sure I'm able to see it. So now we cover and let it keep cooking. So it's time to taste my cabbage. Ooh. I really think I got carried away a little. It's just too much cabbage for this can of corned beef. So I will separate the cabbage. I won't add all the corned beef to this huge amount of cabbage. So let's taste. Very tender. I think the salt is perfect. As I said, corned beef is very salty, so there's no need to add more salt. So definitely never double dip, so I put my fork in the sink. But yes, the taste is perfect, the salt is perfect, and the texture is just what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off. I'm also going to remove this because it's pretty peppery so far. So I'm gonna remove this piece of scotch bonnet here, and then I'm just gonna wait for my water to come to a boil before I start cooking my dumplings. So stay tuned. So I think my water is getting there. It's not quite there as yet. I need a roaring bubble boil, so I'm gonna let it keep going before I add my flour. I'm gonna start the process of forming my dumpling. Here we go again with the gloves, which I really don't like to knead dumpling with gloves, but I'm doing one unit, so, and even so, it's not hygienic. Having nails, which I just got on my medication, so I'm still getting my money's worth from these nails. I'll definitely go shorter. Not bad. So see, let me put this up here. Not bad. Not the perfect, not the best form that I've ever made, but it's good. So, roll it up in a ball, and then try and just fold it into the center. Keep going around. Use your thumb to keep forming that centerpiece, so to speak. You know, you just keep going around until it's pretty smooth, like that. I don't know why my water is taking so long. The front burner is smaller than the back burner. Maybe I should switch it, but then you guys won't be able to see when I add my dumpling in. So let's keep it right here. Probably put it on high. And while I'm making my dumpling, I'm sipping coffee. I'm almost there. And there we have it. I got 6 dumplings from that little much of white flour that I had. I love adding cornmeal to my dumpling, but Tally said she doesn't like cornmeal in the dumplings. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just make white flour dumplings. So I got 6. And my water is ready, see? So I add them to the hot boiling water. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt. Just to, just a little bit of salt to the water. And I'm gonna let this cook for maybe 15 minutes. So, set it but not forget it. One more thing I forgot to mention. Once the dumpling is added to the pot, you have to stir in order for it not to stick to the bottom. It's like making pasta. Once you add your pasta to your hot water, you have to keep stirring it until it's nicely coated with the hot water so your pasta doesn't stick. So it's the same concept, because pasta is basically just flour and water except for the egg you add, but same difference. This is a bit random and off topic, but I just want to share something that I got from the craft market in Jamaica. It's made of straw. These women, they're so skilled, and they make this by hand, of course. It's a hot pad that you put your hot pot on. So I'll be putting my cabbage and corned beef on here, and I'll be using it for the first time, so I'm excited. So while my dumpling is over there cooking, boiling, I will get started on my corned beef. This is a store brand, Kroger brand. So one thing about opening anything with a key, you don't want to break your key or break the attachment part. So you carefully unkey your product, whatever it is. Some many can meats have this thing here, and be careful, it's very sharp, extremely sharp. So carefully go around. So far I'm doing good. There we go. Voila. So I'm gonna add my corned beef to my cabbage. Now it's time to add. Oh, I forgot. I need to portion some of my corned beef. So let me just take some out, because my cabbage was just too much. This spoon is so small. But yeah, I can have this with some chicken, which I do have. Some rotisserie chicken. This is just perfect. Set it to the side. And now, I normally reserve a piece of corned beef so I can have it with bread. Bread and bully beef. So, maybe, I don't know. Too much corned beef. I might just do that, but I'm gonna remove it from the can because I don't want it to sit in the can for too long. Let me just show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Still trying to break the corned beef up some more, but you get the idea. All right, and there we have it, guys. This is just perfect, and it's enough. Okay, so here I come with my Dutch oven, and I'm just gonna set it on my cooling pad or hot pad that I showed you all earlier. So I'm gonna start sharing my cabbage and corned beef with dumpling and a little rice. Tally made rice last night, so I'm just gonna use the leftovers. So watch me. Okay, here we go. The first plate. I like to make my display plate first. Can we see here? Maybe not. Let's try over here. Okay. So here goes my display plate. There we go. So first I'm gonna do, what's this? 1/3 of a cup of rice. As I said, Tally made rice last night and I'm just using the leftovers. You know, cabbage and corned beef is perfect with rice as well as dumpling. So I'm doing 2/3 of a cup. This is just display. Then I'm gonna come in with my boiled dumplings. Let me get a fork from here. I made 6, so we all get 2 dumplings each. Oh my goodness, these are 2 huge dumplings. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with my, let's see over here, my delicious cabbage and corned beef. Let me see if I have a serving spoon right here. I don't. Oh, I do. It's big enough right here. So, ooh, child. I'll show you guys as soon as I have a better angle. I'm gonna add my plantains now. So, 1 minute. So I only had half of a whole plantain and it only gave me 4 little pieces. This is just for display. Wow. What else can I add? Let's see. I think this is beautiful. Look at this. I don't want to be a piano. Okay guys, we're gonna taste this together. Okay? So let's go in with some rice, corned beef, and cabbage. I'm not even lying. This is such a good dish. It's like a poor people's dish, but it's sweet. I'm not lie. Tastes good. Alright guys, see you. It was nice for you to tune in and watch me. Stay tuned for more contents. And guys, I forgot to add ketchup to my cabbage. So this is Azalea's. She's adding her ketchup.